You are tuned to Janet Zenith Cablevision. Thank you for watching. It's time for talk. Each evening at this time, Monday through Friday, Rosemary interviews local personalities and others who bring items of interest to this community. Time for Talk is a community betterment service designed to cooperate with our local community betterment program. Tonight, Rosemary takes us by means of portable camera out of our studios and maybe into your neighborhood. And now, it's time for talk.
Well, the date is August 2013, and I want you to know, if you remember, this has really been an unusual year. Remember, we had a cold, wet June, and we've had a cold, wet August. And we always show you our garden. Well, this year it's totally different with the climate being what it is, and then we want to show you some other things. But look, we have been worried to death that there would be a windstorm, and this pear tree is covered up with pears. It would break every limb off the tree were we to have a windstorm. So hopefully 2 more weeks and they'll a few of them will be ready to eat. But this year there is something totally different that we are raising, and it's been such fun to come out and look that's what we enjoy doing. Every day come out and see how much a little plant has grown and how it's maturing, what it's gonna do. But let me show you. We got some seeds from someone. I thought they were beautiful. They were gourds, just totally, they're worth nothing, but they're pretty. And we threw out some seeds and transplanted them. And I want you to look what we have this year that we've never had before. Can you see that? Can you really see that? Isn't that a gorgeous gourd? And let me put my hand here to show you the size of that gourd. And look at the coloration. Isn't that a pretty thing? It's totally worthless, but it's so pretty. And I'm going to take in several different kinds and make a basket for my dining table. But on this same bush, see, here is another one that it's working on. Can you see that in here? It has the same coloring, but not nearly as nubby and gnarled as the one I just had. But there are many other kinds. The seeds have mixed, and it has been such fun watching to see what they're going to do. Let's walk out to another fence where I planted some gourds, and we'll look at some more. Come on over against the barn and let me show you what's growing up here. All right, up against this old barn. Of course, you're going to have to overlook all the grass that's in here. But look, now these much smaller gourds, and both of these are colored just alike. The nubby gnarl look is not here. These will be smaller, never with a long shank like we just looked at. And let's see if there's another thing that's worthy of note down in here. Well, no, that's not a very pretty one. No. All right, now there are 2 or 3 here. I don't know what the camera can pick up. See, that's going to be a beauty. And look at this. Now this one has a different feel to it. It's really slick. And then not far down in here. And these all look like they're on the same vine. Now they may not be. 2 side by side, just within a hand's breadth of each other. One totally green and a little bit nubby, and this other yellow and green Doesn't feel pebbly and nubby like the others. Over here against the fence, I did, when I took the seed out, I did plant some of the larger specimens of gourds along this fence. And so we've had some real beauties growing in here. For instance, I think that is gorgeous. It's little. All right, now, isn't that a beauty? It's small, but and developing little pebbles. I'm interested to know if it really will get nubby. But there are some that are really, really spectacular in here. Do you see the size of this gourd? It's two hands full, and it's growing way down at the bottom and hangs to the ground. I'm going to let it go now, and just above it are two that are really different looking. Can you see these two? Now, I do think these are coming off different vines, even though they've entwined. To me, this is, I love these fins. It's like one of the, what year did cars come out with fins? Anyway, I liked them. And then can you see back through here? I don't know what the camera is able to pick up. See this totally white gourd, not a bit of color to him. After all the color we've seen, here's an albino gourd. It's amazing. All right, all different varieties. Most of these are the light green and the dark green. That's growing big, and there is also another one of the Kennet Indian gourds, the black and gold. We seem to have more of the Kennet Indian gourds, the black and gold, than anything on this fence. But what I really want you to see is this one down in the depths. Let me see if I can pull it up. Do you see that? Do you see this? What a prize this is. I'm afraid I'll break it off if I pull it out any farther. Can you get most of it? That's a big thing. That's going to be huge. And here. Now this is not one of my favorites, but it's just round. Now where on earth did this seed come from? Some sort of blending of genes and genetic material. Can you see that back in there behind? It looks totally gold. I don't even see a bit of green on that one. So these are really different. Now on the end of this vine, Russ has come out with his old birdhouse gourd seed. Now see, that's called a birdhouse gourd, and you could make a hole in that, and theoretically a bird would go into that. I don't think they're very pretty, and they take over everything. Look, he's planted them over behind us, and he's put a vine on this. It looks bad shape now. He's put it on this old pump, but look where the vine goes. The birdhouse gourd vines just take over everything, grow all over everything, and they're not putting on the gourds yet. They're too interested in seeing how high into this tree they can go before they even begin to fruit. And isn't it pretty when the sun hits it and it makes it look like it's been shellacked or varnished? Really, in order to keep these after they dry, you could shellac or varnish them. I'm sure if you've bought any for decoration. But let me show you over on the tree where we've trained a vine to go up. Let's walk over there and let us show you that. Now this is such a tangled mess that's in here, but I have a compost pile. And a lot of people tease me about carrying off old potato peelings and saving for my compost pile. But that's what all of this mess has grown out of. We've thrown out all kinds of seed, and it's resulted in gourd vines growing everywhere, and they've practically taken over the place. They've grown out of that compost, and we've even put a string across here to try to make it go. We can't have it come out here. It would take over the whole backyard. But, and do you know, we've learned something. We've learned that gourd vines don't like pine trees. We thought, we'll put the gourd vine over here and it'll grab that pine tree and grow up by itself. But look, here's all these tendrils, and nothing has grabbed the pine tree. It doesn't, the pine tree is exuding some sort of thing that repels it. But we took a thread, a string, and wound around and made it go, and see, look here, a vine will lay down on that pine tree, and it's making itself a lot of those little gourds that you see right there. But it sure doesn't like to grab the tree itself. And Russ came out and forced this one to go across like this, and instead of the stem being round like this, going across from one tree to the other, look how the vine, look how it has flattened. It's not round as all of the other vines going across. The one supporting vine here is flat and looks very unusual. I don't know. I don't know the reason for this, but it certainly did to span that width, and it is growing on some sort of string or twine. Then we brought it over to this this tree, and it's doing the same thing. There are dozens of those little gourds in there. I don't know if you've, no. We need to get one of those little tiny ones. As I said, there are dozens like this, and they grow right out of, and so after looking at all of those pretty gourds, what do you do with them? You can't eat them. They're not fit for anything except maybe I've picked a few and I've put them in this basket, and we think they're gorgeous. Some of them have been deformed because they've been against the fence, but we think they're very pretty, and everybody that comes picks up the gourds, and everyone has a favorite. And everybody has a different favorite. Isn't that good that they come in all colors so you can have, but to me that's totally unusual right there. But we've enjoyed sharing with you our gourd population. Thought maybe you'd like to see it. And as we sit here on that tree right there, there is another drama that's playing out. And I want to show you. There's cicada that has split his skin. He's leaning out from it. He's almost free, and I don't know if you can get it or not, but there's another one that's going. This is the year of the cicada. They've been in the ground 13 years, some of them 17 years, and now they come out. And do you know, most of the time there will be a squirrel that runs by and grabs that and eats it. Probably tastes chocolatey. Or birds love them. Very few of them are able to come out and get out of the shell, and in a few, he needs about an hour to stay out of his shell and hold on to the tree and dry his wings. Now these are going to be wings that unfold, and they need an hour to dry and for the blood to pump into the veins for him to be able to really fly and use them. But you see, they're just now unfolding. And we've enjoyed showing you, by way of Time for Talk camera, what was new in the garden this year.